Hi, it's Ike from Groovy Entertainment. Today in my Deke Part 2, I did the first part of my Deke collection, and I didn't know Deke did so much cartoons during the days. And then I did mention one cartoon that I didn't know of a Deke property. I just kept saying it over and over because it was one of the best one I was named the female cartoons of the day. And I didn't know Rainbow Bright would part of Deke. I thought they would just she was by herself. But what I got here is a list of a list of Deke cartoons that I didn't know were Deke, and I don't think any of you guys knew were Deke either. So I'm gonna name a handful that I've seen, mostly because now, like I said, Deke came out in the late '70s. I was kind of wrong. Looking it up, Deke came out in the early '70s, 1971, but they were a French company that did a lot of French cartoons in the early '70s that I won't name because it didn't help us much. And then in the later part, they start making movies and stuff for us. And then in the '80s, that's when they became big. Now, I renamed their first one. Let's name their second cartoon, The Littles. Now, that was a good cartoon. The Littles were these little elf like people that lived inside a wall of this white kid, and he was trying to hide it from his family. And his evil uncle were trying to kidnap them to make money. And they had a bunch of adventures. And then I think the second episode or the second season was these two crazy scientists that were trying to turn the littles into creatures or whatever. And that was, I think that show made it for a long time. Let's see. Yeah, right here. It made it for 2 years. A lot of Deke stuff made it for 2 years, surprisingly. And that was an ABC picture. Then we had the Get Along game. I did a lot of books and record of that. I never heard them until I seen some of the cartoons and it brought back memories. Now the Get Along game was just a bunch of animal friends that had adventures, and their enemies was the crocodiles and this lizard creature. And they ran for one season. They came out in 1984. The Little came out in 1983. Then let's see, you had Kid Video. That was a live action cartoon about a bunch of rock and roll kids that had a band and got trapped into the video side, and they had to fight this villain to get back to their real life. And I'm not too sure they ever made it back to real life or not. Because the show here it said it ran for one season. And that was the ABC picture. Because the Littles was ABC, to get along game with CBS. And I was looking at NBC stuff. B has seen Kids Video. You can leave it in the comments. They did a lot of modern day music and a lot of homemade music. So it could be why you will never see that cartoon ever on TV because they couldn't pay for the rights of all them songs they played. Then we got Pole Position. That was a video game from Atari that got made into a cartoon. And it was kind of like Knight Rider in cartoon form. Got a red, I think it was a red car that had a bunch of gadgets in it, and they did a lot of adventures with this. I think it was a boy and a girl team, and that came out in 1984. It was one season. Then we had Rainbow Bright that made it for I don't know how that made it for two seasons, but like I said in the other videos, it was 13 episodes, and they just broke it up to make it two seasons. And that was the pole position with CBS, Rainbow Bright with Everybody Channel, along with Inspector Gadget, that was Everybody Channel. You got Heathcliff, that was Everybody Channel. Okay, Care Bears. Now I didn't know Care Bear was Deke. I thought Care Bear was Nevada. I know. I think the older show was Deke. the 1985-86 season or the 88 with Darkheart. I got let's see, I have Care Bear back me, but not on this shelf I'm looking at. Oh, here it is. Here's some Care Bear. If I can get that one tipping over. Yeah, here we go. This is from the 1985. So this is the Care Bear that Deke had made. And it's got Darkheart in it. Oh, no, this is Frost. Okay, this is the other Care Bear with Doctor Coldheart. He was a professor where his first Frost bit, and it wasn't that good at the second series. I got both seasons on DVD. So this was the kind of the terrible one, but I have it because you get what you can get because if you don't buy it, it disappears. You're never gonna have your collections. Okay, then we got that's Care Bears. Then they did Hulk Hogan Rock and Wrestling. That was Hulk Hogan only cartoon from 85 to 86. And that was a good cartoon. It came on Saturdays on CBS all the time, all during that time period. And nobody remember had a bunch of wrestlers in that cartoon. And I don't know if that was Hulk Hogan's voice or not, but it was a pretty good show for that time. Then we got Jace in the Will Warriors. That was a plant cartoon about this little girl who father somehow got stuck in a plant land, and they were trying to defeat this plant bad guy, and they had all these plant vehicles and stuff. I got that on DVD also, so I think no, it's probably on that shelf, but I'm not going to dig for it. And that ran from 1985 to 86, and that was on Everybody Channel because everybody had the rights to play it whenever they want to play it. Then we had Mass. That was a show about I think it was five guys that wore these fancy masks that gave them superpowers, and they had to fight crime with their own crime boss. I think it was Doctor Claw. They didn't really have too many new bad guys names, and that was action. That was like GI Joe for Deke. Then we had Kissy Foot or Kissy Fur. That was what was that content about? That was a bunch of stuffed animals that had adventures. Couldn't really tell you much about that picture. Let's see what the picture was about. Maybe they give me a hint. Okay, I was way off. About about bears. Bears having adventures. It's like this. I know my camera won't let you see the picture, but it looks like that. If you can remember that character. Okay, well, then we got Pappos. I think all their books that you can see about the stuff about the character that have magical power inside their pouch. And the toy was kind of nice because the toy you could with stuff in with that you could make into a ball and you could throw it against the wall, whatever. The ball, the definitely didn't bounce, but that's what it was made. I mean, we did, and that ran for 2 years. Kissy for ABC. Papo's ran for 2 years, 86, 87 on Ebby Channel. Then it's the men's one, Ebby Channel. Now we got the Real Ghostbusters. That ran for a long time. That's 5 years, 1986 to 1991. And that was ABC. Then we got the Adventure of Teddy Ruxpin. That was the talking stuffed animal. We stuck a cassette tape in, and it would talk. And then you can watch the TV show. I'm trying to pick up some of the Teddy Ruxpin books on cassettes. Because I don't need the teddy bear. I found a way when not needing the teddy bear for nothing. So you still get to hear their adventures. And that ran for 2 years. No, it ran for a year, one season. And Lady Lovely Locks, we just did a book on that character. That was a 1 year thing. Came out, did a lot of the 6 books, had a TV show with 13 episodes and disappeared. Beverly Hill Kings, I think that cartoon. I didn't run that. That only ran for one season. Let's see if anything else I can remember. See, Dino Saucer, that was an action-packed dinosaur cartoon with dinosaurs fighting other dinosaurs. That ran on Ebby Channel from 1980. Okay, ran for one season, 87 to 88. Oh, the Little Clowns of Happy Town. That was just a clown picture. Bunch of little clowns that had this one big bad guy clown. And that ran from 87 to 88. I see Hello Kitty ran on 87, CBS. I think that cartoon kind of once when I was little on the Spanish channel, because that's where it got picked up at. I never seen it in English except for maybe in November of this year on YouTube. First time. So no, but I got to see it. It was a pretty good cartoon. Even when I was little, it was a nice cartoon. I just didn't know what the cartoon was saying because it was never in English when I saw it in repeat format. I never got to see it in the original format. See, the new Archie, that came on 87, 88 on NBC. I seen a little bit of that cartoon back when I was little, but wasn't really crazy about it. Could be because I never grew up with Archie. It wasn't nothing, it wasn't exciting to me. Cops came on 88. That was the action packed cartoon about these kind of ionic cops. And they were fighting all these other bad guys that had parts missing from them. You can say Cops was kind of a tough guy, Dr. Gadget, the Checkmunks. That ran from 88 to 1990 from NBC. And that was a great cartoon. They played, you won't ever see that nowadays because they play a lot of modern day music and you have to pay for the rights for us to see it 30 years later. So we're never going to see that cartoon. But it came on every single day that I remember. I'm only telling shows that I remember seeing because half of the stuff it would be a long ass video if I kept going. The Karate Kid had a cartoon. I think the cartoon was a little better than the movies. Because I seen all 3 movies back in the days. The cartoon came out and it was pretty good. ABC. The Super Mario Bros. Super Show on every channel. They didn't have a set channel. Like we had Captain N, the Game Master. That ran from 89 to 1990. And that was a good Nintendo game picture. ABC had that. G.I. Joe came back. And Deke had that, and the Deke G.I. Joe wasn't great. It wasn't great at the Sun Bowl. They made it kind of less violent and everything. Let's see what else we got. Super Mario Bros. 3, 1990. Now that was on ABC. Captain Planet with a good cartoon. That came out on the first cable channel, TBS. And then oh yeah, Super Mario Bros. World. That was the Super Nintendo cartoon. And I think that was it off this list that I could remember. Oh, you had Sonic the Hedgehog, and that was kind of a comedy cartoon. And I think the guy that did Steve Urkel did the voice of Sonic the Hedgehog. And with the comedy, I seen it when I was after school. It wasn't that great because it wasn't It was just a comedy show. And that's okay, Sailor Moon. I seen that every day after school. And that was a great action-packed female cartoon for the '90s. And then I hadn't seen any of the other cartoons. But I think Deke ran from '71 to 2008. And I think by the time it ran and ran, I was probably in my 20s or in high school. So I got to see the good stuff of Deke from the '80s to the early '90s. A lot of the cartoons started changing to more kid friendly and less action packed toy commercials. But if you've seen any of these cartoons, leave it in the comments. If you've seen them at repeats, at original, be nice to know. So that was it of the Deke cartoons of the days. So please like, subscribe, share, and comment, and have a groovy day. We'll have another video coming out real soon.